Hello, everyone. I wanted to share what brought me to become certified in emotion code and play with that modality. I many years ago noticed the incredible influence that emotions, the energy of emotions have on the body, and especially when they are not fully felt and processed and allowed to really be honored and moved through. And in my own personal life, it literally impacted me to the point where I was not menstruating. And I tried everything in the world, to uh, get that going. And it truly wasn't until I was in like full recognition of the emotional impact going on that was preventing it from flowing regularly, healthfully. So once I acknowledged that and like really looked at it, it flowed on a regular basis and still does. Um, but it's very eye opening to recognize the influence, impact that when you don't deal with your emotions, what they can do to the physical expression. So, emotions are energy, and that energy, unless it is acknowledged and processed, it will go somewhere in your energy field and manifest in a physical way. So if you have something that you have not healed and you're like, well, why isn't this, why am I not finding a solution, resolution, um, anything regarded? I would highly advise looking at what emotional component might be um, contributing. So, we are energy first, not second. The physicality is after the energy. Energy is always the primary reason. So, but what was interesting was that, it became so obvious to me so many years ago. The first time it became obvious was back in the late 1998, 99, with a personal training client. And I saw she came in with, basically frozen shoulder. And I started pulling out Louise Hay's book and giving her affirmations. And we looked at the emotional component. And, when you do that, it's going to support the healing process. Um, but then I, of course, discovered it in my own personal experiences. And then, fast forward to, 10 years ago, I kept seeing the emotion code pop up in various places in random places. And I'm like, I'm not even going to I didn't even want to pay attention to it. I was like, I'm not getting one more certification or diving into one more modality. And then a friend of mine, believe it or not, she was at the time uh, a real estate broker, and I actually had my real estate license under her. And then I didn't do that anymore. But it was funny because she's like, Christy, she got certified in it. I'm like, okay, now I'm really paying attention if somebody that's not even like in the realm of, healing work, so to speak, is getting a certification. I might want to pay attention. And so I said, tell me about it. And so she actually ended up doing the heart wall work on me when she introduced me to it, and life changing. It was so monumental, the amount of energy I had after we did the very first session. It was unbelievable, and I felt like the most loving human on the planet. And I literally could not stop talking about the emotion code. And I would wake up every day so excited because I was loving this modality. And then I started learning it myself and practicing on people, and I was so lit up by it. And, then I ended up getting certified in it. So it's an incredible modality. It can be, not everybody's going to respond in the way that I do and have this crazy, amazing, experience. However, I know the value of it over, especially, I mean, I've been doing it on myself for a decade, and it's, constantly, if we're not, we may be totally unaware when we don't honor and acknowledge like emotions and then they get stuck. But also, if you think about it, like if we've been like in this habitual pattern of not being with our emotions and shoving them down and creating stories of them to keep them in, blah blah blah, then that energy is with us and we're just trudging along, carrying it along. So it takes a lot of energy to take and hold on to those trapped emotions. So I wanted to share this with you because it's really, I mean, it's incredible. And the inherited trapped emotions. I had a friend recently share with me. He was one of the very first people I ever practiced on, and he was the very first person that I had an inherited trapped emotion come up with. And he said it changed his whole relationship with his ancestors. Like they now, ever since then, they come and visit him. I mean, isn't that amazing? He had quite the team that showed up. It was very, I'll always remember it. I mean, this was 10 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. A picture where I was standing in his living room, and all of these incredible ancestors showed up and allowed me to clear this trapped emotion from all of them. And tears poured out of my eyes, and I got chills all over. But when he shared that with me the other day, that every single morning he has a meditation where and they all come in and he hangs out with them. Isn't that so cool? I was really touched by that. So we don't ever really know how the impact that something of this simple little tool, the emotion code, might have on people. Um, it can be very life changing for some people, at different periods of their life, if you're on this like precipice of wanting to change, but you're just like, eek, I'm not getting over the threshold. This could be that. It could be that supportive element where you're releasing the energy of these trapped emotions and it's just like effortlessly supporting you and walking through that threshold into a new level of experience of yourself. Because the thing is, you will be a new version because you're not carrying that energy. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to go into some other element of it. If you want to work with me, I do packages. I do not do single sessions of emotion code. It's a disservice. Uh, to only do one session. Can it be great to do one session? Sure, but I'm not going to be the one to do that with you. So you either can do a whole heart wall clearing, which for every person could be one session, could be two, could be three. It depends on the person. And I don't have an answer until I get into it with him because the subconscious mind is the leader in all of this, not me. So we can do a heart wall clearing, which is incredibly transformational. Or we can do a package of 10 emotion code sessions that will be joined with intuitive guidance work as well. So those are my two options right now: heart wall clearing or a package of 10 emotion code sessions, which maybe the emotion or the heart wall will come up during that. So, all right, loves. Beautiful day to you. Bye.